What's going on, everyone? I'm Encore. This is Tomorrow Never Comes, and today's video is all about how to prevent beginner's burnout. Before we get started though, we have to address the elephant in the room, and that's this shirt. I know it's loud. No, tie-dye is not back in style. It had its moments in the 80s, maybe 90s. But really, my daughter created this shirt or this design at school and has asked me to wear it today. So, hey, this is what I'm wearing, right? We'll wear it with some pride. But I had to get that out of the way. I know that was the elephant in the room. But back to the lesson at hand, or back to the topic at hand, beginner's burnout. And this is a real thing in any industry, but specifically when it comes to crypto. I mean, it's real. And why is it real? Because there's such an information overload. It's a new space. Things are changing all the time. That if you're not in it completely, sometimes you feel like you get left behind. And so you're consuming and consuming and consuming and doing all kinds of things, which is where I was, that it wears on you. And once you start understanding the way the game works and what works for you, it's not nearly the same. Okay, so I want to kind of go over just 3 rules that I am giving to any beginner out there right now. If you're watching and you're a beginner, pay attention, because it's going to save you a lot of headache. Okay, and I wish I had that, or at least I wish I had sought out information that would have helped me when I was a beginner. So let's jump into it. All right. So I got this whole back to school theme, it's coming around the corner. So I figured, why not? Let's just kind of address this. Okay. So beginner rules. So first and foremost, have an information diet. I love information. I love jumping down rabbit holes and learning and learning and learning. Well, I used to more so than now. I still love learning, but now it's more intentional learning. Okay. And it's more focused, it's more direct, and it's filtered learning. And so that's really what I want you to understand right now, is that you can read every article on every site and it can gain you a lot of insight, but it can definitely confuse you because everyone's got their own opinion and it's time consuming. So here's what I recommend. You pick a maximum of 3 influencers. Influencers were and continue to be a huge asset for me. I feel like it just speeds up the learning curve if you follow the right ones, obviously. And in the beginning, you won't know who the right ones are. So you kind of have to trial and error it. But I would say don't do more than 3. And pick one platform. Don't be on Facebook with different influencers, Twitter on different influencers, and then YouTube on, that's too much. Okay? You can then, once you have your set 3 or 2 or however many you have, you can then start to follow them on different platforms. But in the beginning, pick one platform. I would pick YouTube, because it's more educational, it's more instructional. As they're speaking, they can do a lot more and kind of explain what they mean versus, a couple of characters, 150 characters on Twitter, right? So get a real feel for what they're trying to teach and what they're trying to show you, and pick one platform and stick to it, okay? Sites, pick 3 again, no more than 3, right? You could read the Google Browse, you could read Yahoo, you can read a bunch of stuff, okay? Here are the 3 that I would pick, okay? CoinMarketCap is an absolute must. And you're gonna see why as I move forward to the next one, the next rule here. But that's a must. It gives you information, but it also gives you the pecking order of these cryptocurrencies, where they stand in terms of market cap. But they give you a lot more, okay? So it's very helpful, and it's really just a quick way to look, where these stand. And if you're not familiar with CoinMarketCap, generally speaking, the higher the market cap, the more tried, tested, and true or secure the project is. Generally speaking, that is not obviously 100% rule. Look at Terra Luna and everything that happened there. So but it gives you an idea of how big this project is in comparison to other ones. Okay, so usually the lower the market cap, the more riskier it is. Okay, so CoinMarketCap, Cointelegraph, and CoinDesk, they're kind of cousins of each other. So it's kind of a good way to start. There are a bunch of other ones. Cryptos R Us, Decrypt. But pick 3. And pick 3 that suit the style of information you like, right? There may be some writers in there or whatnot, but I would start with these three. And then if you feel like something's not really working for you or is not accurate for you, then switch it out. Okay, just pick three. So again, three influencers. I would pick YouTube. 3 sites: CoinMarketCap, Cointelegraph, CoinDesk. All right. So number 2 is pre-plan your portfolio. I did not do this at all. And so what do I mean by pre-plan your portfolio? Have in mind percentages of certain things of where you're going to put your money, certain buckets. Okay. When you don't do that, like I didn't, whatever money you have tends to go where the flavor of the time goes. In that moment, did you read something? Did you hear something? It's more reactive, or it's more emotional, that you'll just tend to throw money somewhere versus having something planned out. And they say trade like a Terminator, but not even just for trading. I think just for portfolio management and investing. At the end of the day, you are investing to make money, not lose money. So you got to have intent, and it's got to be planned intent. Okay. So here's how I would structure it. Now, many may disagree with this. Okay. Because they've kind of been more seasoned in the game, but I'm looking for this from a perspective of being an absolute beginner and how it would have served me better. Okay. So here's what I would go. I would go 25% blue chips. What are the blue chips? Bitcoin and ETH. Those are the absolute blue chips. Okay. The way I would do it is I would go 60% into Bitcoin, 40% into ETH. Now, remember, nothing I say is obviously financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my opinion. And here's the thing. Many people now are actually more heavier weighted towards ETH because of the merge and more likelihood and more upside potentially in the short to medium term. But I stick to Bitcoin. That's for me. 60% would go Bitcoin, 40% would go to ETH. Okay, so that's blue chips. 25% is top 15. So again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to CoinMarketCap, the top 15 market cap that's in there. That is not a stable coin. Okay, USDT, USDC. That is not ETH Classic, Litecoin, wrapped Bitcoin. So just ignore those. Those are not, those are not things you want to be in. All right. So 25% blue chips, 25% of the top 15. My pick from that top 15 would be BNB, AVAX, and Matic, which is Polygon. Okay. So 2 layer 1s and then a layer 2 on top of that. Okay. Very, very solid projects and a lot of activity happening on those protocols or within those protocols. So those would be my picks. The next one would be 10% in the top 50. Okay. So Algorand, Near Protocol, and Filecoin would be my options, my choices. And Filecoin is a storage play. I touched on that in one of my earlier videos, but I think it's going to have quite a bit of a run going forward because of the importance of infrastructure. But that's just me. I like that coin. 10% I say in Gameverse, and I combine gaming and metaverse here. It is something that it's already here, but it's only going to get bigger and bigger as time goes on. So to be invested now in a bear market, it's not a bad opportunity. Okay, it's actually a great opportunity. So my 3 picks here would be Sandbox, Engine, and ApeCoin. All right, ApeCoin is the grease for the Yuga Labs wheel, basically. So it's the currency that drives everything within Yuga Labs. If you don't know who Yuga Labs are, the creators basically of Bored Ape, Mutant Ape, and some pretty, well, now they're definitely blue chip NFTs. So they grease the wheel within that community, and so I think it's got massive upside and should do well going forward. And finally, okay, so that's 50, 60, 70. Wow, you know what? Good thing we're doing our math here, right? 50, 60, 70. I would actually do this, and this is why here, because I would actually go with, 25%. There we go. 75% eaten up within the top 50. And then I would go 85%. I would say, you know what? I would do this. 75, and then I would go right here, 15%, and then I would put 10%. There we go. Must have been my shirt that threw me off. All right, so 25% blue chips, 25% in the top 15, 25% in the top 50. Okay, so 75% then in game bursts, and 10% is fun. The fun part is very important because listen, if you're a beginner, you understand what I'm saying. You want this feeling of I can do things whenever I feel like it. It's not so structured, and that unfortunately that's kind of how beginner's mindset works. That I can beat the market, I can beat the people in here. I don't need anybody's advice, so I don't need the rules. So this 10% kind of lets you play in that field, right? You want to do some trading, you want to do some other very speculative plays. You can do that. And so that 10% right there is kind of like your freedom play. And everything else is locked up prior to doing anything. And then the 10% is just do as you please. Okay? And number 3, structured check-ins. Make sure they're scheduled and make sure it's desktop only. What do I mean by this? So when I started, there are so many apps that it looks like it makes your life easier. So if you're trading or if you're on an exchange and you're trying to check your portfolio, it is so accessible. The user interface and user experience is pretty clean on a lot of these ones. 2 to mention is Bybit and Crypto.com, which are my favorites and still are. It is so clean and so easy to use that you are so encouraged to check your portfolio. And when you check your portfolio, you're more likely to do things in there that you shouldn't long term. Okay? So, and you got to remember, crypto market is 24/7 and never shuts down. So you have trouble sleeping, you wake up at 3 in the morning, you can check it and do something with that portfolio. And there's a real danger in that, not only to your portfolio, but just mentally. It just wears on you and you just want to check it all the time. Not to mention it disrupts your sleep. So I've been there, I've done that. It's too easy to check. And they do it on purpose because they want you to be on that platforms. So it's way too easy. And I would advise to just do desktop only because desktop seems more of a pain now. And when something's more painful, you're less likely to do it. So you can have a structured check-in. I'm only going to check in once a day, twice a day, whatever it is, at this time for this amount of time. So look, like everything that I mentioned here, okay, is structured. And I have a hard time with structure. Anyone who knows me, I have a very hard time with structure. But it's a lot easier to do this and not be as thrilled with the process, but much happier with the outcome. Versus, man, you love the process, or you love the process, right? Freewheeling, do as you please, no structure, but the outcome is terrible, right? You lose capital, your positions are smaller, you get out of things that end up popping later on. You're like, you know what? I had X amount of this at this price, and now look at it. Like all those things, you can limit, if not get rid of altogether, if you're just a little bit more structured and you have some rules. All right. So I just want to recap this. So have an information diet. That's rule number 1. Very, very important. Pre-plan your portfolio. Hopefully you do better math than I do out the gate. All right. But have a system. Like it doesn't have to be this, but at least come up with something and then understand that you can change it. But the point is that if you don't have something to begin with, you won't know what to change. It'll just be all over the place. So have something there. And then last but not least, make sure that your check-ins are structured and desktop only. It just eliminates that ease of access and the ability to make changes when you shouldn't. All right. So hopefully you guys found value in this. If you're a beginner, don't be daunted by the task. Understand that even the most seasoned people in here don't know everything. Even in things that they like, they don't know everything. And it's always evolving, always changing. Consume to your best capability. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't think you can't do it.
and you'll never get it. You're not a technical person. Like all those things, throw that out the window. Take your time. This is here for the long haul. This is our future. So just get in there and start learning. Okay, but have structure. All right, guys. Hope you found value. Like this video, share it with any other beginners or people you think could value from this video. It really helps out. Just remember that tomorrow never comes. Take action, invest in yourself today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.